What's the fastest way you've seen someone freak up their life? There was one young woman. Initially she was pulled over for speeding, which isn't all that bad, just a traffic citation. Then the officers noticed she was drunk. Still not terrible as it was misdemeanor DUI, but you still end up spending the night in the tank. As she's being arrested she resists, and during the struggle she kicks one deputy in the face, which ended up blinding him in one eye because she happened to be wearing high heels. She went from a simple speeding ticket to a DUI to felony assault in the space of about 30 minutes. Man, I feel bad for that officer. A heel in the eye sounds freaking brutal. Dang, I wish I didn't have one for this. At Snowshoe doing some skiing with buddies. We're at the top and I overhear a little girl, 10-12, in blue ski pants and a white puffy coat complaining about her helmet being uncomfortable. Dad comes over and adjusts it, but the girl continues to complain. They make a plan. Dad and brother start to go one way. Girl stays with mom. I hear clear as day from dad, the helmet stays on or you stay in the lodge. As soon as the father is out of sight, her mother tells her just to go toss it in her bag and that mom will deal with dad later about it. Day goes on. We ski, wreck, get soaked, have fun. It's sometime towards dinner and we're at the bottom of the hill planning on one more run before we grab a bite to eat. The sun is low, it's cloudy, the lights are starting to turn on. There's an ear-piercing scream as a young girl in blue pants and a white puffy jacket comes hurtling out of control through the flats and head first into a cement anchor for the lift line. The sounding was sickening. The whole crowd seemed to drop silent as she hit with a sick wet thud. Someone behind me puked. I do not know if she made it. I know she didn't move again while ski patrol loaded her onto a board with a neck brace. I also don't know if a helmet would have even helped. But dang. My sister had a great job, husband who loved her, beautiful baby girl, made a friend at work. Friend convinced her to cheat time from the company, fired from her job. She enrolls in school, trying to make her life better. Meets a friend who gets her addicted to bath salts. Sister is caught shoplifting from the store where I work. I eventually quit because management let it be known that I would never be trusted again. Sister pops out kid 2, eventually spends all the money for rent on drug. Her and her husband, plus 2 kids, have to move into a single bedroom in my parents' house. Sister gets further into drugs, now using coke. Pops out kid 3 during that timeline. She finally found M. M is her whole world now. She has stolen and cheated everyone in her life. Taught her kids to lie etc so she can get her next fix. The final nail in the coffin. While my 85-year-old gran was on vacation, my sister broke into gran's house, stole thousands of dollars and let her dealer live there for a week. They trashed the place and stole the engagement ring my grandfather gave her. He died of cancer before I was born. And other family items that are worthless except to her. My gran is sick right now. We all know my sister did this and the police are looking into it. But likely my gran is going to die knowing her granddaughter did this to her and without these items ever being recovered. My sister feels no remorse. Even when shown evidence that we know she did it, she lies. Christ, that's rough. My sister shot a cop 5 times after he pulled her over for suspected drunk driving. She was in a stolen vehicle, in possession of stolen guns, and in possession of drugs. Her sentencing is in January and the DA hopes to get her at least 100 years. Guy I went to school with about 10 years ago set his house on fire for insurance money with the intention of getting out his stepfather, but mercy killing his own mother who had terminal cancer. It was idiotic at best and evil at worst. The problem was his stepdad never got out and he died too. And the cops could tell it was him because he had gasoline burns on his hands. So since he was 16 when he did, he got double involuntary manslaughter and won't be released until he's 35. Mercy killing his own mother who had terminal cancer. I know cancer is really freaking awful, but being burned alive doesn't seem like much of a mercy killing to me. Cousin started using H. 7 months later he died from OD. Had a guy get busted for drinking and driving during his first month at his new base, Air Force. He was a brand new airman and his leadership spun the story that he was young, learned his lesson, etc and managed to let him stay in. He lost a stripe and got paperwork but could continue his career. No less than a month later, he gets another DUI. Bam. Career over. Out of the Air Force. No chance to ever rejoin. Oh, and a bit of jail time and a suspended driver's license. So what do you think he does? He goes to a party, gets crap-faced drunk, grabs his keys and tries to drive home without a license. Cops catch him. Third DUI within just a few months period, with a suspended license, resulting in several months in jail and basically no chance of employment. Not as bad as some of the stories here, but it was pretty crazy to see someone's brand new career fall to pieces so fast, even with good leadership. Happened in Tuscan, AZ. A freshman at my university posted an anonymous threat on Yik Yak about a month after he started. The threat was something like, no one go to X building tomorrow at 7 PM tomorrow. You've been warned. He gets arrested that night or the next morning and gets a 10-year sentence for threats and terroristic threats. He wasn't even serious, Ike. He thought it was a joke or didn't want to go to a quiz test that day. I guess he didn't go, so mission sort of accomplished. Went to a rave with some friends the summer after high school. One of my friends was approached by a guy selling ecstasy, and my friend bought like 10 pills off of him. Ever the entrepreneur, he immediately turned around and tried to sell them to someone else. The first person he asked happened to be an undercover cop. My brother has a schizophrenic girlfriend who refuses to take her meds and he thinks he can fix her. He has nothing in his life but her. Can't leave her alone, so she even goes to work with him most of the time. If she doesn't go, she calls him every 30 minutes. The only reason he still has a job is he works for a family member. Bride at my cousin's wedding got caught by groom's father fricking the best man. She's homeless now. Reputation was destroyed and she got fired for something else. I never understand what could make someone think cheating on or around their wedding day is a good idea. Guy from my high school had a baby girl in his early 20s. The baby was still an infant and wouldn't stop crying. He tried rocking her, but it wasn't working and he got frustrated. I don't know the specifics of what happened, but the baby finally stopped crying, but was unresponsive. Took her to the hospital and they found that she had shaken baby syndrome and the baby later passed away. He lied to police and the doctors about having anything to do with it initially, but later admitted to shaking the baby when he was frustrated. Was found guilty of neglect that resulted in death of a dependent. 30 years in jail. My sister's boyfriend was dared to rob a gas station with a BB gun. He's now doing 8 years for armed robbery. The kicker is they offered him a plea deal that would have given him 4 years jail and then probation and he said no. This summer I was driving with my dad heading north around 9 PM. There was this old Jeep with its left signal turning signal on in the other lane coming south waiting for us to go so they can turn. All of a sudden, boom, the car flips up onto its top, rolls over twice into a ditch woods on the side of the road. I pulled over. We ran out of the car. 1, 2, 3. The car burst into flames. I'm calling 911 and I look at the car and this teenager trying to break the windshield with a stick and he's yelling frick. No. My dad goes and tries to break the windshield too. More people are gathering around. This one guy tries to take a video and almost gets the crap kicked out of him. The fire department are on their way. At this point, all of the trees around the car are catching fire. They climb out the ditch because we don't know if their car will explode or not. There's nothing else that can be done until the fire dep shows up. They take their sweet butt time and put the fire out. The person in the car is long gone at this point and they don't even try to get him out. So how did this all happen? Remember the guy with the stick who was trying to break the windshield? He was speeding and playing on his phone. He didn't see the Jeep until the last second. Tried to swerve to avoid it and rear-ended it at an angle. The story goes on, but that's the most important bit. If you learn anything from this, don't use your phone for unnecessary crap while driving. It's irresponsible and selfish. This needs to be higher. I've heard that apparently putting your phone over your speedometer to watch a show or something of the like is a thing. People justify it by saying that they don't touch the phone and that they supposedly aren't even really watching it. Crack. He was a decent guy with a lovely wife and a good job in San Francisco. In less than a year he lost the job. His wife left him, and he had to straggle back to Chicago in disgrace, where he kept using for several years. When I was about 12 years old I watched my uncle destroy his life because of crack. Penn State civil engineering graduate, Penn. Well-paying state job, house, married, 3 cars, dirt bikes. toys etc. Within a year or two of smoking crack he was living in a storage unit with some guy. I won't dare even try that crap once. There was a guy I had met at a few parties in my area. We weren't friends, and I can't remember if we even ever talked to each other. Anyway, there was a party in the town over from mine that I decided to skip for some reason. Apparently, the guy that I sort of knew was trashed and wanted to drive home. Someone took his keys, so the dude goes to his car and grabs a huge Bowie style knife, walks up to the guy who has his keys, and sinks the knife into his stomach. Unfortunately, the guy died trying to stop someone from possibly killing himself or someone else. I had a roommate come home one day and say, "I smoked crack today. I think I'm going to start smoking crack." Maybe not the best conscious life choice. In first grade, I was at the first Tiger Cub meeting for kids and parents interested in Cub Scouts. The parents were hearing all the boring details about dues and fundraising, etc. We were playing tag or dodgeball, and one of the kids falls on the gym floor and slides quite a ways. We all thought that was pretty fun, so we all start running and then falling on our stomachs to see how far we slide on the gym floor. One kid was way too close to the wall and slid head first into the wall pretty hard. His parents left with him and went to the emergency room. He was in special ed classes after that. Opioids eventually leading to H. I've seen 5 or so, depending on how loosely friend is defined, of my hometown friends go from having the odds inherently set in their favor, wealthy parents, intelligent, athletic, social etc., to becoming junkies. 2 even lost their life entirely earlier this year. Slippery and quick slope to go down. It's awful. Talking to them about their recovery, only to see them relapse. I've gotten better at reaching out to those I know that have struggled, but there's only so much you can do from 1,000 miles away now that I've moved. Yeah, my friends' stories aren't quick enough to be relevant to this thread, but at least 5 people who I grew up with have died from opiate ODs. They were all from relatively stable, middle-class families, and they had good jobs, and they all died before 35, most of them by taking too much when they relapsed. Please be careful, guys. Here in Utah a few years ago, an immature mother decided to take her daughter's side in a spat her daughter was having with one of her friends. Mom decided to Photoshop a picture of the friend's head onto a photo of a nude woman. Then she proceeded to print out 50 copies and hang them up all over the daughter's school. The police didn't care that the images were fake. They charged her as if she was posting real nude pictures of the girl. 50 individual felony counts. I wonder if that stupid woman is still in prison. Had a friend back in high school who was nice but kind of a pushover. We went to the same college, but he started drinking too much and transferred to a smaller school back home. One night he got blackout drunk and decided to drive home. He ran over 5 international students that were walking home on the side of the road, including his own roommate. Killed 3 of them instantly and hospitalized 2. He was so drunk he didn't even realize what he'd done. He woke up the next morning to the cops banging down his door. You have been visited by the romantic doggo. Comment love is magic so you never fall in the friend zone. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.